Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. On today's video, it's what everyone hates and despises, the Apex Legends Season 12 tier list. People hate me making tier lists because apparently I have no idea what I'm talking about, but I thought I'd go ahead and make my tier list. Now, I'll start off with the S tier, then I'll move through A, B, C, D, etc. But first of all, in the S tier, I am going to put Mirage. Now, Mirage is insanely fun and good, and he's always been useful. He's always been the best 1v1 on Apex Legends. It is unreal how good he is when used by the right people. Not me, I'm not a great Mirage main. I didn't like Mirage for a hot minute, but I think that Mirage is an insanely good character. It just takes a little bit of time to kind of learn him and master him and allow for the 1v1s to kind of ensue. So for that reason alone, I'm putting Mirage in S tier. I don't see him changing in Season 12. I think I had him in S tier last season because at the end of the day, Mirage has always been a very good 1v1. It doesn't matter what map what map he's on. He's just good in any 1v1, and especially going up against people you can, as he says, bamboozle. But let's go on to a legend that has been made better. Now, I have put Valkyrie in the S tier. Now, I think I had Valkyrie in the S to A tier last season. Valkyrie on Olympus is just insanity. Valkyrie was made better through Stormpoint, and Stormpoint was a great map for Valkyrie because of the the movements needed. And the exact same for Kings Canyon and Wells Edge. She's always been good. But Olympus has a lot of opportunities and possibilities for Valkyrie and her jetpacks. Now, the rotation is obviously a huge bonus and a lovely ultimate for the entire team to use. Not only does Valkyrie help the team out, she also can help herself out with jumping on top of buildings. Movement is key on this game. As I always say, movement is one of the hardest things you can master. You need gun skill, you need map knowledge, you need game knowledge, but you also need movement. That's one of the biggest things. And Valkyrie really does bring a lot to that movement. She really does, bring a new element, but she also brings a fun element, a fun change that allows it to always feel like you're growing and you're learning as Valkyrie, and it is insanely fun to use Valkyrie. So her replayability value alongside her, her ultimate, her passives is just insane. So for that, I'm putting Valkyrie in the S tier. Now, my boy Pathfinder, I couldn't decide whether to put him in S tier or B tier, and I know what about A tier. The problem I have with Pathfinder, if you are an insane player, which I am not, and I can guarantee 70% of Pathfinder players are unfortunately not, Pathfinder can be in the S tier. If I play Pathfinder, I would be putting him in the F tier. But because I'm not, and I'm just generalizing these legends based off of the highest skill level, Pathfinder is insanely good. He's got a good escape for himself. He's got a good ultimate for his team. He does not have a passive, which is okay. It's fine. We're over that now. And his grapple is not as good as it used to be, but it is still really fun and really good to use. And he makes for great. He makes for great movements, and he makes for great possibilities with the zip line, etc. So I will put Pathfinder in the S tier. But as I said, it was very hard to put him in either the S tier or the B tier. Someone who deserves the S tier, someone who really is an incredible legend. I don't like him. I can't play him. I struggle to play him. I don't know why. But we have Gibraltar, aka Gibby, aka Top Dog. Not only does Gibraltar have the incredible passive, of fortified, so he takes damage. He takes less incoming damage, not income. It doesn't make any money, but he takes less incoming damage, and it is unreal. It really is good, and especially on a map like Olympus, where you can have the high ground, you can have the head glitches with his gun shield. Gibraltar is just a really scary legend to go up against. He really is good. His shield bubble is awesome. Can really save and turn the tides of the fight. And then obviously you have Lifeline. Lifeline I have put next to Gibraltar because Lifeline is unreal. Lifeline and Gibraltar together are a duo, in my opinion, and they are just the worst team to go up against. The minute that Gibby throws his shield down, Lifeline throws her drone down, you can be healed up in that drone within seconds. It is not fun to play with. So I've put both of those in the S tier, but I wanted to reference them together because they are just an absolute pain. But let's talk a little bit more about Lifeline. Lifeline, I find I do better with Lifeline when I play her aggressively. I have got guides for most of these legends, by the way, guys, on the channel. My Lifeline guide is one of my most popular videos. One thing I say about Lifeline is you need to be playing her defensively. If you are the first into a fight, do not play Lifeline. If you are first fighting, if you are first to pick decisions, you know, in-game leaders, do not pick Lifeline. But I actually play Lifeline aggressively. For some reason, she is great as an aggressive player, and that video, albeit as popular as it is, I kind of regret saying that you shouldn't, because Lifeline, you can push, you can then fall back, you can heal, shield, you can be fully replenished within you know 8 seconds, well, no, within 4 seconds, sorry, with the right equipment. Shove a gold with shield in her, and she is horrendous. So that's the S tier. So we have Mirage, we have Valkyrie, Pathfinder, Gibraltar, and Lifeline. Now, to move on to the A tier. Now we have my new favorite legend, Ashe. Ashe is one of the best legends I think has been introduced as of late. She is unreal. I really enjoy the potential with her ultimate sometimes. Her tactical is great for capturing people, keeping people behind a rock to allow you to move forward. I love just throwing out her arc star like a trick shot in the Modern Warfare 2 days. That was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed doing that, and that was great fun for me. So Ashe is definitely higher up in the A tier. I've put her at the first in the A tier. I love the character. I love everything about her, but she's not exactly made better with Olympus. So as earlier I said that Valkyrie is definitely there because of Olympus. It's made her stronger. I could argue that Pathfinder's the same. Ashe is made stronger in Olympus because of her ultimate can allow you to traverse that open field very, very quickly. Next up, we have Horizon, someone that I've been playing recently and been really enjoying her recently. Her passive, the ability to have no struggle when she hits the ground, is a great fun. But she's really good, and again, she's made a lot better because of Olympus. She's made a lot stronger because of the need to move around a lot more, to cover open ground. Her ultimate pretty much goes well with anyone, whether it's Caustic's gas, whether it's Sear's tactical, whether it's Fuse's ultimate, Gibby's ultimate. Watson's ultimate does really well in synergizing with the team. And then the next person that can synergize well is Octane, and yes, you believed it, he's made better through the Olympus map change. And again, Octane is great on any map, and any map to come out, Octane will always be great on because of his jump pad, and not just his jump pad, but his tactical, his stim. If you're stuck in a tough spot, Octane can get you out of that by flanking very well and very quickly and distracting the enemy team. And Octane is just a fan favorite. He just is great, and so that is why I've put Octane in the A tier. And we have the last entry in the A tier, and it is indeed Bloodhound. Bloodhound is insanely fun. I'm not gonna lie, I've been trying to play Bloodhound a little bit more recently, and I find it insanely hard to use Bloodhound, purely because when you do his ultimate, everything goes black and white. It throws me off, and I find it very hard to kind of use that. So Bloodhound is an A tier. The tracking on Olympus, because it's such a small map, is incredible. The ultimate, the speed is incredible. The scan, because obviously a lot of Olympus is small, a lot of the POIs are very small. Bloodhound's scan is awesome, and you can really grab a lot from that. So Bloodhound is in the A tier, and that does finish off the A tier, which consists of Ashe, Horizon, Octane, and Bloodhound. Now the B tier, now I had to put my girl. I had to put my girl on the B tier. I bumped her down from the A tier in Season 11, Season 10. I bumped her from the S tier. I really don't want to have to bump her down anymore. Please Respawn. Fix Bangalore. Bangalore is the first entry into the B tier. She is unreal. She's incredible. I really enjoy Bangalore. Her passive is one of the best passives in the game. Double time, the speed. I love Bangalore. I think she's really, really awesome. Her tactical is great for not only, you know, saving yourself, saving your teammates, but also annoying the enemies, covering that open ground that you need to in Olympus, and also just, you know, covering the enemies in smoke so you can get away. It's really good to revive as well, so you can smoke and revive. Bangalore is just a great legend, but with the introduction of Mad Maggie, I really felt like Mad Maggie just doesn't really, you know, help her in any way, and neither did Ash and neither did Seer. So unfortunately, we're you know, going down a little bit more. So that is why Bangalore is in the B tier. Next up, we have the new Season 12 legend, Mad Maggie. Now, Mad Maggie is, in fact, in the B tier. Now, I thought she was going to be insanely overpowered. I thought she was going to be really difficult to handle. But it turns out she's not great as a team. She's not good in a team. She's very similar to, you know, I would argue Wraith. I would very much argue Seer. They're not great in a team. So Mad Maggie is in the B tier after Bangalore, purely because she just doesn't have good team play. She's got great solo play. Her passive helps her out with the highlighting of the enemy. Her passive shotgun buff helps her out with her enemy. Her tactical helps herself cover doors, damage the enemy, and her ultimate pretty much helps her team, but you have to be very well synergized for that to be effective. So she's a great solo legend. I just, however, don't think she's as good as, you know, picking someone else that could definitely help the team. Now we have Maggie's good friend, Fuse. The most irritating voice line, one of the most irritating characters, to be honest, in my opinion, is Fuse. I have put him in the B tier because, again, he is made better by Olympus. The open fields is very good for his grenade. I feel like I said open fields a lot, but obviously this is my tier list and this is what you guys are here for. So, and if you are enjoying it, please consider dropping a little like or a little subscription. I'll give you a kiss. But Fuse anyway will give you a kiss with a grenade. He's very good at, you know, keeping the enemy away from you because of his ultimate, because of his grenade launcher, and his tactical. He's really good at, you know, keeping the enemies thinking and keeping them on, you know, on their feet. The problem is, in my opinion, again, is Fuse is not a great team player. You'll see that a lot of the people as we go down the list are not good, you know, team players. Fuse is tactical, helps himself and his team second hand. His ultimate, you know, keeps the enemies at bay. And I know he's, you know, he's an aggressive player, you know, and he is a, you know, a high damage dealer. I just don't see Fuse being as good as other legends, and that's unfortunate. What it comes down to is Fuse as good as other legends, and if so, will that bump him up in the list? You know, who knows. But let's talk a little bit about Loba. Now, Loba is the incredible design, the incredible woman, the thief. She's great, but she's still in B tier. She's sitting towards the end of B tier as well. She is really fun to use. Her tactical is great. It launches her across the map. You know, should you need it to get out of a sticky situation. Her ultimate allows you to you know, have unlimited ammo, essentially, loot a town in mere seconds. You can't block with her shield anymore, with her ultimate anymore, which is a bit annoying. But her passive, I think, is pretty useless. You know, seeing loot through walls, because at the end of the day, you either loot the building or you don't. I don't really see the point of that. But it helps for hot drops. But because of Loba's, you know, small help that she has to the team, I am going to put her in the old B tier. Now, the final legend in the B tier is one that I'll probably get most flack from. The most flack I'll get is in the D tier. The two I've put in the D tier. But in the B tier, we have Wraith, the final legend in the B tier. Wraith, in my honest opinion, is not great. Her reputation is even worse. The fact that people don't like Wraiths is one thing. Her ultimate is good, but it's not as good as, you know, like Ash. So Wraiths, obviously, her portal. She's vulnerable unless she has a tactical. Ash isn't vulnerable. So Wraith then in theory is easily damaged and easily killed. Her tactical, she avoids bullets for a bit. That's quite cool. Again, quite a passive, you know, like not passive, not a team skill. It's more of a individual skill. And being aimed at is one thing, but you don't know where they're aiming at you. So you know that someone's aiming at you, and I always say that in Apex, you should always assume that someone is aiming at you. So Wraith is in the B tier. Now moving down onto the C tier now, we have Rampart. Rampart is the top of C tier in my opinion because she is great in one or two situations, okay? When you're in a building or when you're on top of a hill in the circle. Rampart sucks outside the circle. Rampart's LMG buff is cool. Unfortunately, LMGs aren't as good as they probably should be, and if it was an AR buff, would be laughing. But she's not that great. Her passive, sorry, isn't that great. Now, obviously, we have her shields, her tactical. They're really good for covering those angles when you need them. But Apex Legends is a game about movement, and unfortunately, you can't move around a lot when you've got some shields placed down. A bad shield placement by a random or a good friend is as annoying because the enemy will then get an advantage. I got blocked in the other day by a Rampart and the person didn't close their shield down and the enemy just beamed all three of us in that one building because the shield was the wrong way round. Her ultimate's good. I feel like if you go up against a good player though, and you're Rampart, you're always going to get beaten as you get more movement when you're not using the LMG, the ultimate. And you can kind of, when you hear Rampart using her ultimate, you just kind of walk away. You know, and when you see her shields, you just walk away. So she's in the C tier, but after her is Revenant. Now Revenant, I just don't like Revenant. I'm not gonna lie guys, I just really don't like Revenant. I was so excited for him when he first came out, because I thought it was gonna be this scary assassin. Turns out he had the energy of a sheep. So that's that. Didn't like that at all. Revenant is just kind of mediocre. His death totem is cool, but I feel like when people hear that, they obviously prepare for it. He's not as good as he was in season 10 before the nerf. So for that, Revenant is sitting pretty in the C tier. After Revenant, we have Seer. Seer is good. He was OP as hell way back in when he first released, and then he was obviously nerfed. And the reason why I hate Seer is because it brings me flashbacks to when we were in Fragment East, and you couldn't go anywhere without seeing his ultimate. About 5 of them all in Fragment East. It was not great. Seer's recon's really good. It's good for sniffing out rats. His tactical is really good, but people have kind of learned now and mastered it. So unless you've got them cornered, no one should be getting caught in it, to be honest. And the his tracking abilities, you know, finding out people is good, but I feel like sometimes you don't want to bump into someone and then, you know, knowing that one person or 2 people are there. You always want to have the upper hand, and you want to get the jump on people rather than you just chasing someone for so long. And the final one in the C tier, it's the same problem as Rampart. I will never forgive Respawn for having Rampart and Rampage in the same game. Is Wattson. Wattson is the most incredibly disappointing legend ever. Her heirloom is incredible. Her design is incredible. She is a very fun character, but she relies too much on staying in one space, which is good for 10% of Apex Legends. You know, Final Circle, she's great. Her shock gates, God is what you'd call it. Shock poles, pole shockers. Her pole shockers. Sounds quite wrong, but her pole shockers are really good, but they just can get shot down straight away. They are good if you can hide them well, but most of the time they're kind of a panic. They're kind of a drop down, and you can kind of shoot them anyway. Her ultimate's obviously really good, and that's just lovely for Wattson when she's, you know, not needed. That does close up the C tier though. So we have Rampart, we have Revenant, Seer, and Wattson. The final one, guys, the D tier. 2 people are in here, and if you've been, you know, thinking of what legends I've missed out on, the first one is Crypto. Crypto's buff is just not good enough. Crypto, unfortunately, unless you are a high level crypto player, you just won't benefit too much from crypto. He doesn't bring much to his team because yes, he has a drone, but then you're then a man down. Whenever crypto's in his drone, you know, scouting around, you are a man down. You're not only a man down, the man is also far away. So say for example, me and you are playing duos, okay? Me and you are running towards a fight. You go on your drone, I go into the fight. Not only am I a man down, but you're still back there on the drone. And it's happened before and it's annoyed me so much. And that is why he's in the D tier. He needed more. I don't know what the buff needs to be. And it annoys me because I love Crypto's character design. I love the outfits he wears. I love the, you know, lore. So I was really annoyed to hear that the buff wasn't going to be, you know, that much difference. And the final legend we have in the tier list is Caustic. I'm glad he got nerfed. Just to make him even more useless, it's great. The only time Caustic is good is in a building. Think about it. When are you ever in a building where you can't escape? And if you are in a building and the team's around you, it doesn't matter if it's a Caustic, it doesn't matter if it's, you know, whether it's Seer, whether it's Mirage, Lifeline, you will die. So in that case, why the hell would you need Caustic if it doesn't matter who you change him out for, you know, you will die. So Caustic for me is in the D tier. Now guys, what do you think? I'd love to know what you guys think of my tier list. I will do some more tier lists. People just love, you know, belittling me for my choices, but I hope I've given you a little bit of thought into each single reason as to why I've put them in their tiers. If you enjoyed the video, as I said, I'd really recommend dropping a little like, dropping a little subscribe, and leave me a comment. Tell me what you thought about the tier list. Is there any that you do agree with, anything you don't agree with? And until the next video, I'll see you later.